We all have that little inner voice that tells you you're a fuck up, usually because we learn it that way. Somebody told us, you'll never amount to anything, you'll always be a failure. It will not solve all your problems, but probably most of them if you truly develop solid self-esteem. Most people just build their lives on a faulty foundation. They don't really know what the foundation is, but if you're building something on a faulty foundation, it's like building a sandcastle or building a castle on sand. It's going to eventually give way. It's going to eventually tumble and crumble. And unfortunately, to get self-esteem, to really build that, you're going to have to confront your emotional issues. You're going to have to figure out why you feel unworthy. Because we all have that. We all have that pathological inner critic. We all have that little inner voice that tells you you're a fuck up, usually because we learn it that way. Somebody told us, you'll never amount to anything, you'll always be a failure. Usually that comes from people who were a failure themselves, like your alcoholic father, you know, the wife-beating drunk kind. I mean, we have a lot of that in America. I don't know about your countries, but in America this exists a lot. And so then the kids of such people will have equally low self-esteem, will equally have a propensity toward alcohol and violence and whatever. It kind of perpetuates itself. I would go as far as say it's the root of all evil. Not ego, not money, none of this. These are all like secondary, tertiary effects, symptoms of low self-esteem. But the actual root cause is low self-esteem, all the way down to Lucifer. Lucifer was the greatest of all angels, right? As equal as God almost, the shining one. But that wasn't enough for him. He still had that little inferiority complex toward God. So what did he do? Narcissistically, he wanted to overcompensate for his low self-esteem, thereby challenging God, which is the ultimate rebellion, which is why he was cast out. Low self-esteem is the root cause of all these problems. It's not everything, but without it, everything's nothing. Even if you manage to attract wealth, fame, look at Hollywood. Look at these dysfunctional people. They're all on drugs. They're all doing plastic surgery for millions of dollars. They all get divorced. I mean, it's dysfunction junction. I've lived in Hollywood, I know. I've lived there. So I know, I've met a lot of these freaking people. And they're very, very dysfunctional people. I've hung out with the rich and famous. Money, wealth, status, power, fame are nothing to prop up low self-esteem. There's just no substitute for something really solid. It's the foundation. It's the very rock that you build your entire life on. If you don't have it, there's nothing to build on. Yes, it's not everything, but it's the first thing you need to work on, I think, more than anything. You won't be able to have real masculinity without it. It will not solve all your problems, but probably most of them if you truly develop solid self-esteem. You're holding yourself in esteem. You're worth it. You're worth something. And then if you truly have it, and it takes a while to build it up, people that tell you you're this and that, if I told you your nose was green, probably wouldn't affect you much, would it? Why? Because you know your nose is not freaking green, that's why. But if I tell you something a little more personal, questioning the very foundations of your person and your worth, I might hit a weak spot. This is usually when people get really angry, because when they realize you're hitting that one spot. And as long as you don't have solid, if you really have even a quantum of solid self-esteem, and people tell you negative stuff about you, you'll kind of, so what? But if it kind of hits that point of resonance, that little pain point, it can bring down the whole house of cards in a heartbeat. So nobody wants to admit this. Nobody wants to confront this pain. Unfortunately, this is one of the few things where you have to go through the pain. No pain, no gain. There's no shortcut to this one. Nobody wants to know it. No one wants to accept it or hear it. you can tell people then fall into all kinds of weird compensation mechanisms, such as narcissism.